Namaskar. Welcome to this second session of the third Adhyaya of Sri Bhagavad Geeta. We start with our gratitude towards the Lord, with whose grace everything is possible. We pray to this Guru Shishya Parampara through which this knowledge is preserved and transmitted for generations so as to reach us. I pay my respects to my Guruji Pujya Guruma, with whose grace I am able to learn the scriptures and share this understanding with you. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So third Adhyaya is the Karmayoga. Let us just begin with what is Karmayoga. But before what is Karmayoga, let us understand what is not Karmayoga. So just doing our karma, just doing our actions, doing our daily work as we regularly or normally do right from the morning till the evening, with a lot of passion, with a lot of ambition, with a lot of enthusiasm itself is not Karmayoga. This is called karma or karmi. And the person who is workaholic, who is karmi, who is only karmanishta is not a karma yogi. And that's why there is a distinct difference between karma and karma yoga. So karma yoga is some kind of a very different skill in the action and its results. And this skill that Bhagavan talks about in Bhagavad Gita is not an outer skill of doing the work. It's not just kushalta in the karma, means it's not just outer skill, but this skill is more like a sukshma, more like an inner skill, an attitude in our mind while we do our karma and when we get our results. So essentially for doing karma yoga, essentially for converting our karma into karma yoga, the best thing is that we don't need to change our actions. We don't need to change our karma. What we need to change is our attitude towards the karma. The first is the actions, and number two is karma phala, the fruits or the results of the actions that we get once we do the action and the desire that we have for these kind of results. So Karma Yoga, according to Bhagavad Gita, is the first step in the spiritual journey, and that's why Bhagavan in the second Adhyaya also talked about first the final goal of the mankind, Atma Gnana, and then he starts from Karma Yoga and then again reaches up to Sthita Prajna Purusha, final destination of the Gnani. So just let us recapitulate the first session of the third Adhyaya that we saw the last session, the first 16 shlokas. The first shloka starts with a very thoughtful question of Arjuna, whether he should do Gnana, he should just Nivrutta, go away from the battlefield, or do his karma with fighting this war. He asks for one solution, Tadekam Padanishchitya. He says, Vyami Shrena Vakyana, don't confuse me with lot of thoughts, give me one solution. But Bhagavan is not in a mood to give him one solution. He says, Lokesmin Devida Nishta, Pura Prokta Mayanagha. I have given two paths. You choose one that is you are most eligible for. And then he says, nobody can live without action for a moment. We cannot survive without actions. Karma is a very, very important part of our life. And that's why don't think of giving up karma. Arjuna, you have to do this karma. And what we have to do it with the right attitude. We should not be hypocrite that we give up karma and then in our mind we keep talking about karma. That Bhagavan says this is mithyacharasya uchyate. And then he says, how do we need to do karma? In the 7th shloka he says, Indriya Sanyama and Anasakti, unattached. This is the way we need to do karma yoga. And then he describes the 4 attitudes of karma. Niyatam kuru karmatvam. Niyata karma means our duty, our different roles in our life. We don several hats all throughout the day. Different hats, being a mother, being a caretaker, being a professional, being a worker, being a homemaker, could be any of the duties that we're doing all throughout as a parent, as a son, as a daughter. So all these duties we do with our Karma Yoga spirit. Attitude of Yagna Buddhi. Yagna Buddhi, Bhagavan has described in 4 shlokas in 3rd Adhyaya, in the 9th to the 12th shloka, what is this Yagna Buddhi? And then the Prasada Buddhi, Yagna Shishta Shinah Santo Muchante Sarva Kilbeshe. We need to whatever we get, we must receive as an acceptance. And then Bhagavan talks about Dannat Bhavanti Bhutani and Evam Pravartitam Chakram Nanu Vartayati Hayaha. He talks about the Srushti Chakra, the Dharma Buddhi, the universal, the cosmic cycle, how it goes on, how we need to understand that there is there is something called this cosmic cycle which goes on, and how we can contribute into this cycle in our own way. So that's the first shloka. We talked about the question Arjuna asked, Gnana or Karma, and he clearly understands that Gnana according to the Lord is Shreshta. It is superior to action, because he says already, Bhagavan has described Atma Gnana, then described Karma Yoga, and then described Siddha Prajna. Arjuna has understood that in the eyes of the Lord, knowledge is supreme, Gnana is Shreshta. But in spite of that, repeatedly Bhagavan tells Arjuna, Tatpuktishta Parantapa, hey Arjuna, oh Arjuna, you get up, fight this war, fight this war. So he's telling Bhagavan, oh Krishna, why are you impelling me into this gruesome battle, Ghora Karma? Why this? Why, when you think that Jnana is superior, why do we need to do Karma Yoga? And the Bhagavan answers in the third shloka that Lokesmin Dvida Nishtha. He shows two Nishtha. He says Karma Yogena, Karma Yoga Nishtha for Karma Yogina. Means people who are passionate about karma, for them action is the most important thing for them. Karma Yoga Nishtha is the best. And for those people who have already achieved some kind of purity, who already have to have any shuddhi from Karma Yoga, then for those Nivritta Parayana people, those who are happy with not doing karma, satisfied with their self, and for those people Gnana Yoga Nishtha, path of knowledge, Bhagavan says. Finally, the goal is the same, Atma Gnana, self-knowledge, Gnana Nishtha, that is the ultimate goal. But for this goal, to achieve this, we have to go through this sadhana, the journey, and a seeker is a person who has a viveka, means he is able to think, has that discriminative intellect to decide what is good, what is not good, what I am eligible for, whether I am eligible for Karma Yoga, whether I am eligible for Gnana Yoga. This understanding Bhagavan wants Arjuna to develop. And that's why he's showing him two paths and says that Arjuna, you choose. It's only in the 6th Adhyaya that Bhagavan tells who is eligible for which path. He's not going to tell him, Arjuna, right now. But essentially, over the time, we understand what Bhagavan is trying to tell us, that Karma Yoga itself includes Bhakti Yoga. There are no two different. Bhagavan says only two Nishtha I have shown, Pura Prokta. Even if you see Ishavasya Upanishada, the first shloka, Ishavasya Midam Sarvam, Yat Kinchit Jagatyam Jagata, Tena Tyaktena Bunjitaha. So that also shows a Nivrutti Parayan. So that is the Nivrutti Lakshana Dharma. And second shloka, Bhagavan says, Jijivishet Satam Samaha, the one who wants to do Karma Yoga. You desire to live for 100 years if you want to do Karma Yoga. It's also a very good path to attain the divinity. So the first two shlokas of Ishavasya Upanishad also denotes the same thing. Bhagavan shows two different lifestyles, two committed lifestyles here. He's showing that Karma Yoga is mainly meant for Shuddhi, Antakarana Shuddhi, cleansing of the mind. This is the first step. But the final goal that Karma Yoga leads to is Antakarana Shuddhi, where all our vices, Raga, Dvesha, Mada, Moha, Matsarya, everything is neutralized. And this is done by the Sadhan Chatushtya Sampatti, which is called Viveka, Vairagya, Shama, Adi Shat Sampatti, and Mumuksha. So with this, we have to reach to this first goal of life, and then the path of knowledge. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana are the three main sadhanas where the Ajnana, the ignorance of this entire cosmic, but Bhagavan is talking about, that ignorance is gone. That Ajnana, once it goes, we get what is this Atma Jnana, what is the final goal, the self-knowledge. So essentially, there are no two paths. When Bhagavan is saying there are two paths, Lokesmin, Dvida, Nishtha, does not mean there are two paths. Actually, there is just one path of the sadhana. And the sadhana, Karma Yoga, is the first step, and then the Gnana sadhana is the next step, because Antakarana Shuddhi is the most important step in between. And most of our sadhana for our lifetime almost goes in Antakarana Shuddhi. And Guruji tells us that once Antakarana Shuddhi happens, that Gnana immediately comes. It doesn't take too much time. A lot of time is needed only for Antakarana Shuddhi. That's why Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga takes a very long time for us to develop this kind of Shuddhi. Bhagavan is showing 4 attitudes of karma. Karma, attitude of duty or debt, Runa Ada, Kartavya Karma, Niyatam Karma, attitude of Yagna Buddhi, acceptance, Prasada Buddhi, and Srushti Chakra, cosmic cycle. So let's go ahead. 17th shloka. till what time do we need to do Karma Yoga? That must be the question in the mind of the Arjuna. If you are saying Karma Yoga is good, is that the only way? Till when should I be doing Karma Yoga? That must be the question of Arjuna, to which Bhagavan answers that when does Karma Yoga end? Yastvat maratire syat atmatruptascha manavaha atmanyeva cha santushtah tasya karyam na vidyate. So Bhagavan says, for the person who is Atmarati. Atmarati means he has his own, he enjoys with his own physical pleasures, is it with his own body. He doesn't need any other external physical, for gratification of his senses. Atmatruptaha means his desires are also contented. He's satisfied with his own mind. He doesn't have too many desires to achieve this, that, and the other. Atmani evacha santushtaha is very contented, satisfied with his own self. That person, Bhagavan says, tasya, that for that person, that wise person who is paripurna, who is fulfilled in his own self, karyam na vidyate, there is no work, there is no duty, there is no karma yoga to be done. Bhagavan is talking about karma yoga here. So that's why karyam means karma yoga here. For that person, there is no karma yoga. So karma yoga ends when that person becomes wise, gets enlightened, gets all the gnana, paripurna, avastha. And what is that avastha? Bhagavan has already shown in Sita Prajna. He will be showing in several gnani lakshana in the pursuing chapters of the Karma Bhagavad Geeta. But here Bhagavan is showing us the vision. Agnani versus Gnani. What is that difference between Agnani, the unwise or the ignorant person, and the wise, the Gnani? So Bhagavan says that unwise Agnani is, for him or her, the physical happiness is dependent outside. And for the wise, physical happiness is with his or her own self. So they are not dependent outside. Similarly, for Trupti, for the unwise person, is fulfillment of desires outside, wants to achieve something or the other in this world. Whereas for the Gnani, there is all fulfillment of desires in his own self, knows that I am the Paripurna, Atma Swarupa, Satchit, Ananda Swarupa, all the Ananda, all my happiness is with my own self. And Tushti, satisfaction, is outside for the person unwise, because always wants to achieve more and more, more and more. Whereas for the wise, the Gnani, the Tushti is inside. And that's why the unwise Agnani is dependent outside, and the Gnani is completely free, because he's not dependent outside for any of his happiness, for his joy, for his or her own life. So unwise person, the ignorant person, is for being happy, has to be in the past, has to remember the past, that okay, I was this and that, and that's how I was happy at that time. Or has to think in the future that if I do this, then I'll be happy. If I don't do this, I won't be happy. That's how they are always, looking for happiness, or always being in the past. Whereas for the Gnani Purusha, the wise person, always is in joy, is in eternal bliss, is always in the present moment, in the now. He has all the joy. Is not dependent on the past or in the future for making him or herself happy. And then the next shloka, Bhagavan says that the wise person does not have any motive. There is no purpose for doing action, or if they are in action, for them there is no such purpose. Naiva tasya krute nartho na krute neha kaschana na chasya sarva bhuteshu kaschidartha vyapashrayah. So Bhagavan says the wise person does not have any action, does not have to do any action to serve any purpose. So even if they are Gnani, they will be in the karma, they will do karma yoga, they will do some karma from outside, but there is no main purpose. They don't need to achieve anything for doing that, for actions. Neither, Bhagavan says, they do not have any purpose of not doing any karma. If they are not doing any karma, they are doing their sadhana, bhajana, or their nivritta parayana. Also, there is no purpose, because they are already paripurna, they have already attained their goal. In this world, living with all the beings, sarva bhuteshu, kaschit na artha vyapashraya. They don't have any selfish motive to acquire anything, or any objects they have to acquire. They want to get name, fame, all this. They don't have any such purpose in life. They are paripurna, they are all fulfilled from inside, and they don't have any purpose or motive in, even if they are in action or they are not in action, they're completely independent. For the wise person, they don't have any duties, they don't have any niyata karma. For the enlightened person, they will be doing it, they will not be doing it. That's up to them, because they don't have any purpose for doing it or not doing it. So that is the status of the wise, the Gnani Sthiti that Bhagavan talks about. They are Nirapeksha. They don't have any expectations. They don't have desires. They don't have any fear. They are Nirbhaya because they have known their own Avyaya, eternal, Nitya, Atma Swarupa. And they know that expectations is the root cause of all miseries, and that's why they don't expect much because they are already paripurna from inside. They don't have expectations outside. And they know that we can suggest to others, but we cannot change anybody else. That is their understanding. The best thing is that, we all need to understand from this that what needs to be changed is our own self. We have to change ourselves. We don't have to keep changing people outside. And they understand that there is a big difference between what is a jid or the obsession, which is like an invalid insistence, whereas a firm decision is something that is a valid insistence based on dharma, based on the moral values, based on our value system. So that is a firm decision. So this discrimination is very clear to them. Most of the times, most of us, we do, okay, I only believe that this should be done. I believe that this should not be done. But these belief systems are something that are sometimes not based on our values, what values we believe in. This belief system may be based on just our thoughts, our emotions, our experiences, and that's why we make this belief system. Sometimes they become very rigid with us. We are not able to change them, and then they become invalid insistence, jid, duragraha, which are also called raga, dvesha, and they create a lot of problems for us. Whereas the Gnani believes that acceptance is golden. They accept what they cannot change, any situation, any circumstance that they cannot change. They understand it, they accept it completely, and that's how they are not unhappy. They don't have miseries, they don't have pain, they don't have fear. They have complete peace of mind. But wherever they have some control over the situation, they know that they can make a difference, then they understand that let going is more peaceful rather than just holding on to those things, objects, things, people. It's better to let go them, and that gives eternal peace of mind. So this discrimination, this intellect, viveka, is there in the Gnani. And that's why they avoid making major on minor things, small little things. They don't create more of a problem, and they have a complete freedom. They have param swatantriya, and that comes out of a sahaj sanyama that they have done during their sadhana, and they have now understood that they are the paripurna akarta swarupa. They are not the person who is the atma is akarta. They have known this, and that's why they know that they don't have any karma. All the karma happens in anatma, in all these duty actions. They don't have anything to do. They don't have any duties. They don't have kartavya karma. That is what Bhagavan is saying, that when a gnan, param gnana is achieved, then there is no karma yoga. And that's why Bhagavan says in the next shloka, he says that do your karma yoga and attain the final goal. Tasmad asakta satatam karyam karma samachara asakto hyacharan karma paramapnoti purushaha. Bhagavan, that's why he's saying, after saying all this, describing the sthiti of the Gnani, how Gnani Purush does not have any kartavya karma. He says that's why you start with your karma yoga. Bhagavan says tasmat asakta satatam. That's why you do all your karma without getting attached. And satatam means always, continuously, don't be attached. Bhagavan says karyam karma samachara. Do your all kartavya karma. Karyam karma means kartavya karma, your duties, all your duties. Samyak achara. Samachara means in the best possible way, with complete attention, focus, details, intricacy, with awareness. Do your actions in the best way. Asakta hi acharan karma. Asakta means do it without any attachment. Asakta, without any attachments. And then param apnoti purushaha. You will be able to attain the highest goal of the humankind, mankind, of our life, which is nothing but Paramatma Prapti, attaining the divinity, or moksha, complete freedom. All this is one and the same. How we look at them, they are different names given to the same paripurna avastha that we can attain, that final state that Bhagavan is describing in Karma, in Bhagavad Geeta. So essentially, Bhagavan is saying that with Karma Yoga, you will attain final goal. But we need to understand, even Arjuna understands that Karma Yoga cannot lead to moksha, because in Karma we achieve something by doing it. In moksha, we don't have to achieve something. It is something which is already known. It is already there. We have to know it. And that's why Gnana and Karma are different aspects, and that's why they cannot be the same. Essentially, what our entire scriptures, Guruji, they repeatedly tell us that what Karma Yoga does is it creates a purity of our mind, it creates antakarana shuddhi, and with this we are able to get on and understand the knowledge, and only with the knowledge we develop, we attain the moksha, we attain this complete independent state, that is freedom. And that's why Karma Yoga is not the direct sadhana or the means for knowledge and moksha. Karma Yoga is an indirect means of moksha, because Karma Yoga causes Shuddhi, and Shuddhi then will lead to Atmagnana and moksha. So with this understanding, Bhagavan is telling Arjuna that you do your Karma Yoga, do your karma in the best possible way with Karma Yoga. So doing duty or kartavya karma, what does it mean? Means that we do it without our own likes and dislikes. Most of the times we operate from our likes and dislikes. These are called raga, dvesha, and these are the impressions that are already there in our mind since we are growing up. What we like, what we don't like, then we develop this kind of strong likes, dislikes, and based on this, our behavior develops, our own responses, everything. But for a karma yogi person, there is samatva. There is no inferior or superior duty. There is no happiness. There is no sadness. Everything is samatva. For them, every duty, whether it is a big or a small, done by a person who is the head of the organization or done by a person who is a worker in the organization, everything is the same. Everybody has the different duties. Everybody does their duty in their own way. There is nothing like superior, inferior, and this is the vision of the Karma Yoga. And these are some nice words of Mother Teresa, who said the great job is what when we do our own duty, which is done with great dedication. So it may be a small duty, small job, but when it is done with great dedication, it becomes a great job. So there is no lesser job, there is no bigger job, but whatever is done with the dedication becomes a great job. When Bhagavan says asakta, without attachment, so karma is something, it is our nature. And we are all inclined and obsessed with doing karma right from the time we wake up in the morning till the time we go to bed. We all want to do this, that, other. There is so much of to-do list. There is so many things to do. It's endless. It never gets satisfied. We keep doing this, that, and the other. So Bhagavan is telling us to do karma because it is the nature of our things, and from there we have to elevate, uplift ourselves. And Bhagavan tells us, don't do karma tyaga. Karma tyaga is something that scriptures never tell us, never order us to do. There is never an order by scriptures to give karma tyaga and take sannyasa. But scriptures only permit us, for a person who is eligible for karma tyaga, scriptures only permit them. Just like a fruit, when it matures, it falls off on its own. Similarly, for a person who matures in his mind and does not have to achieve or gain anything from this material world, then can take a karma tyaga. If the conditions are suitable, then can take karma tyaga and can develop sannyas, can attain sannyasa, and then do the sadhana for moksha. So essentially, scriptures are always never tell us to do karma tyaga. Similarly, what scriptures tell us, what Bhagavad Gita tells us, is to do karma phala tyaga. So we have to let go of the attachment to the results of the action. We don't have to let go the karma. We have to let go the karma phala. So karma phala tyaga is something that we need to achieve, and that is the main crux of the Karma Yoga. Karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. So karma is my domain, that is my choice, that is my right. Karma phala is not my domain, that is the domain of Ishvara. Ishvara is going to give me karma phala according to what karma I am doing. This is the understanding. And finally, the most important tyaga, what we have to do, let go, is the let go of the kartrutva. Kartrutva is something that binds us always to karma, because I always believe that I am the doer. I am doing this karma. I have done this. I have done so much. I can do this. I can do that. There's so many things that we have so much attachment to kartrutva. We don't even realize how strongly we are attached to our actions, our karma. And this identification of ours, that ego, pride, whatever we call it, this kartrutva that is described in our scriptures, is the main that we have, with which we let go of everything else. There's a beautiful shloka in Mahabharata Parva, Shanti Parva, about the kartrutva, how tena tyaktena, whatever you are letting go with everything. Karma phala tyag also we do with kartrutva. Okay, I am leaving this karma phala. Okay, I am leaving this karma. That I-ness has to be given up. Finally, that kartrutva tyaga is a very important part of, and that's why Bhagavan is saying, do your Karma Yoga with this attitude. This is a Karma Yoga attitude. And with this, only Paramatnoti Purushaha, you will attain the highest supreme divinity, Bhagavan tells Arjuna. So, Satatam means Nirantara. And there can be three Anvaya. In Sanskrit is a beautiful language. When Bhagavan says, Tasmat Asakta Satatam Karyam Karma Samachara, means that there can be three Anvaya, means Satatam can go in three ways. Satatam Karyam Karma means do your duty continuously. The second way looking at this is Karyam Karma Satatam Asakta, means do your duty without attachment to the results, always being unattached to your results, do your duty. And the third way we can see is Karyam Karma Satatam Samachara, do your duty continuously. With Satatam goes with Samachara, means utmost dedication, always be dedicated in precision, trying to do your best without tandra, without with a lot of awareness. And that is how Satatam can go with Karyam Karma, it can go with Asakta, it can go with Samachara. Depending on this, the meaning can be different, but here Bhagavan is telling us that we need to practice this continuously. Satatam Nirantara, we need to practice this. That is what Bhagavan expects from us. So having listened to this, Arjuna must have thought how karma yoga or actions can lead to moksha. How is it possible? Is there anybody like this who has been in your knowledge? Bhagavan Krishna, probably Bhagavan is reading the mind of Arjuna. He says, Karmanaiva hi sansiddhim asthita janakadayaha loka sangrahamevapi sampashyan kartumarhasi. So Bhagavan says there are many examples. Janakadayaha, King Janaka, who was the father of Sita, and others, many other kings who did Karma Yoga and led to enlightenment. They were wise people. Only with Karma Yoga, without any attachment, with Karma Yoga, they reached their Sansiddhi. Sansiddhi means their final goal, and they were steady in that Asthitaha, in that final goal. Only by Karma Yoga they could achieve this. And how did they do this karma? Loka sangram api sampashan, that they always used to see the welfare of the people at large. So if you see the welfare of the people at large, Bhagavan says, even if that is the purpose, then kartumeva arhasi, it is in the best interest for you to do Karma Yoga. Here Bhagavan is giving this uddesha, this teaching to Arjuna in the Mahabharata battlefield. We should not forget. And Bhagavan, when he's talking about doing his karma, means at the moment it is about his fighting this righteous war, the Dharma Yuddha, Mahabharata Yuddha, because Arjuna has already said that I don't want to fight na yotsya. He said, and that's why Bhagavan is making him understand how is karma important, what is the role of knowledge in our life. And Bhagavan then says that people follow what great people do. Yadyadacharati shreshtaha tattatte vitaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastadanu vartate. So Bhagavan says, Yat Shreshtaha Acharita. Whatever the most honorable, the most respectable, the most important people in the society, they do, they act, they behave. The people who are famous, those who are known, well known. Itara Janaha, Tattateva. All the other people who are the followers, most of us are copycats, the followers, and that's why try to copy what people of known people they do. And that's what the leaders do. So other people follow. That's what Bhagavan is trying to tell Arjuna, and this is so very true. In our life, the entire fashion industry is meant on this, because people try to copy everything, and that's how everything works. People see that other person is wearing something, having a similar kind of a phone or something, they want to copy that. Sayat pramanam kurute. Bhagavan says they set an example. This is the standard that they set. And what others, lokatat anuvartate, all the human beings follow the same behavior, the same actions, they follow that. And that's why the great people have a great responsibility. And that's what Bhagavan is trying to tell Arjuna. You are a great warrior, you are a great archer, Arjuna. You have a great responsibility. If you are going to run away from the battle, you will set a very, very bad example on others. And others are going to follow those kind of examples, what great people do. So what drives human behavior? That is the question. And most of the times, what is it? That it is our nature, our impressions, our sanskaras, our likes, dislikes, sometimes very strong, raga, dvesha. So we tend to do what we like, and we tend to avoid what we don't like to do. And this is how we spontaneously, without thinking, we carry out our behavior. And we also insist that others should do what I like and others should not do what I don't like. According to our raga dvesha, others also should behave. And this is the common way that most of the times people operate, from our own strong raga dvesha, our own strong raga and this raga dvesha, dislikes and likes. And this is the central theme of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavan is going to talk about this in the third Adhyaya. In the fourth Adhyaya, he talked about in the second Adhyaya how we can raga dvesha tayorna vashamargachedi. He will say that don't get under its spell. Tauhyasya paripantino. They are your biggest enemies. He is going to tell us the raga dvesha. And the way we should operate, ideally, Bhagavan is trying to tell us in Bhagavad Gita, is based on our dharma. Dharma means what I am supposed to do, what I need to do, what is the right thing to do, and vice versa. What is I should not do, what is not the right thing to do. Vishiddha, Nishiddha karma, and whatever is my scriptures telling me to do. So I don't look at my likes, my dislikes. I don't look at what I like, what I don't like to do, but I see what I need to do, what is I'm supposed to do, what is my duty. So dharma, question comes how this dharma can be decided, who decides dharma. Our scriptures say that Shruti, the Vedas are the pramana. But today these Vedas are not much available. Many people don't read Vedas, nobody knows about what is written in Vedas. And that's why the Smruti Shastra, the next level of evidence, which are the Mantra Drashtra, Rishi Munis who have seen this and written down, like Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata. Mahabharata also can be considered as an Ityas Shastra, but is essentially a Smruti Shastra by Ved Vyasji. So it is available today and people can read it and understand what is Dharma. But what is available more widely is even today is Satpurush Acharan. Good people, noble people, how they behave, what is their behavior, that describes what is Dharma. And finally, we always say that there will be an inner voice, our own inner voice of conscious, which will guide us whether we are doing the right thing or the wrong thing. But our scriptures tell us that inner voice is important only for the person who is rooted in Dharma. Somebody who has been living an adharma lifestyle, is a corrupt person doing all the wrong things, then that voice of conscience is already subdued, will never tell him to do the right thing because it tells us initially. But the moment we keep suppressing that voice of conscience and continue doing immoral things, unethical things, then that voice of conscience doesn't come up. It is never heard. And that's why the voice of the conscience is important only for the person who is determined, rooted already in the Dharma, initially Shruti, Smruti or Satpurush Acharana, which is going to tell us what we need to do in our life. Normally what happens, our parents, our teachers tell us what are these moral values, what we should do, what we should not do. That is the Dharma. Sreshta Acharana, the highest conduct, and Bhagavan says it also means that people with virtue have a very great responsibility. And because people have a tendency to copy the behavior of the virtuous or the noble or the most famous people, leaders. And that's why in our society, parents, teachers and leaders have to be extremely careful how they behave. They have to be aware. They have a very great responsibility of how they behave. And there are several, we look in newspapers how small little things they do and they malign themselves because they don't have those kind of standards which are there for them to follow. And people learn more from the actions rather than words, especially children. And that's why parents, teachers have a great role to play what they're doing, because people are going to learn from just looking at them rather than what they are going to teach to them. It's better that they do the right behavior. In the next shloka, Bhagavan Shree Krishna gives his own example and says, Name parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nana vaptam vaptavyam varta eva cha karmani. Says, O Partha, O Arjuna Pruthaputra, Name kartavyam asti trishu lokeshu. I do not have any duty to perform in these three worlds. O Arjuna, I have the incarnate form of the Almighty, the divinity. And when I assume this form, I don't have any duty to perform because I'm Sarvagna, I'm still all wise, I'm enlightened, I know everything. I don't have any duty to perform. I do not have avaptavyam, anavaptavyam, because I do not have anything to acquire in this world. And I don't have anything for not acquiring in this world. I don't have anything to acquire, neither to not acquire. Bhagavan says, Varta eva cha karmani. But even then, still I am in action. I do all the duties or karmas that need to be done from morning till evening. Bhagavan Shri Krishna already has done so much karma, so many has destroyed the demons. Whatever dharma sansthapanarthaya, sambhavami yuge yuge, Bhagavan says. So a lot of karma he has done, even though he did not do it as a Bhagwan, he can just think and job will be done. But then Bhagwan already says, Yadyad acharati shreshtaha. People look at the great people, what they have done, how they have done, and then they follow, then they copy that same thing. And that's why Bhagwan says, see, even I don't have anything to do. He's showing his Ishwaratva. He says, I don't need to do anything in this world when I assume form, as I assume a body or a name or a form. But even then, I am still in action, Bhagwan, he said. And actions of the wise people, Gnani, Bhagwan himself is a Param Gnani. So Gnani ke karma, it's a very sahaj acharana. They don't have anything to gain or lose, and that's why they behave from a very, very saral, a very, they have a lot of karuna, compassion for all beings, and that is how they behave. They have a lot of grace for the others. That's why Loka Sangram Evapi, they behave for the welfare or benefit of people. They do job their own duty with a lot of utsah, enthusiasm. From outside, it will look that they are very attached to their job, and they also inspire others to do their best actions. They do mostly for loka hitartha, means for the welfare of the people at large. They don't have anything, selfish motives are not there for them, and they are always rooted in samatva. They are not worried about success, failure, because they know that job is the best thing to do. Their work is where they need to focus, and they are already nispruha, asanga. They are unattached from inside. They are not attached to this world when they do it. Bhagavan Shri Krishna, he destroyed the entire Yadava Kul, his own dynasties, Yadav Kul and his Dwarika. So the golden Nagari of Dwarika, he actually submerged in the water because he was completely unattached from inside. He's not attached to his own Dwarika or even his own dynasty. He's completely unattached from inside, and they work like it as if they are an actor in this movie or a drama, because they know their paripurna avastha, their own real swarupa, they know very clearly, and that's why they are not attached. And Bhagavan says all people follow the path of the great people. Yadi yaham na varteyam jatu karmanya tandritaha mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvashaha. Therefore, Bhagavan tells Arjuna that if I don't perform actions by awareness, atandritaha. Atandritaha means by awareness, if I don't do, it will be a very big loss, because all the human beings in all the respects, they will mama vartam anuvartante, they will follow my path. Whatever I do, they'll be following that path for years to come. And that's why Bhagavan says atandritaha. Atandritaha is a very important word, being aware. Tandra avastha means having between the awake state and the sleeping state. There is an in-between state, which is the Tandra Avastha, when we don't feel like doing much, we just feel like lying down. It's a very common experience for all of us, being lazy, we just want to laze around. But here Bhagavan says atandritaha, being very aware. Don't be in Tandra, don't be lazy, do our actions with a lot of awareness of what we are doing, of proper planning before beginning the actions. Actually, a lot of planning needs to go wherever we want to do any action. Avoid being lazy in action. Always look at your goals and be focused on the goals. Bhagavan says, whatever is worth doing very well, and it should be done in the best possible manner without worrying about the results which are going to come in the future. If this is the way, then this is the attitude of Karmayoga. Bhagavan says, atandritaha, being aware. And Krishna then goes on to say that if I don't do my action, what will happen? It will destroy the social order. That's why I have to do all my duties, all my karma. Utside yuri me loka nakuryam karma chedaham sankarasya cha kartasyam upahanya mimah prajaha. Bhagavan says, if I don't perform my actions, what will happen? Utside yuri me loka. All these people will be ruined. Sankarasya cha kartasyam. And I shall be responsible for this Varna Sankara Praja, for the mixed population. If you recollect, in the first Adhyaya, Arjuna gave the same justifications to say that if I do this action and destroy my kul or my clan or my dynasty, then there will be a Varna Sankar Stree. The women will become immoral, and Varna Sankara Praja will be created, and I will have a lot of papa. And Bhagavan is saying that if I don't do actions, then a Varna Sankara will be created in this Imah Praja Upahanyam. I shall be responsible for destroying this entire human race by making a Sankara Praja, and all these people will be ruined. They will not be able to achieve their goal of life. And if I don't do my action, then that's why I need to perform my action to create or to maintain the social harmony of these people, of the human race. And that is what Bhagavan is trying to explain. Arjuna similarly is trying to tell Arjuna that you also have this kind of a responsibility. Now Bhagavan is trying to tell Arjuna that you should do karma from outside. Probably the wise, how he is doing his karma, and unwise is doing a karma, there will not be much difference. We will not be able to know whether he is a wise person or is an unwise person. Do it like that, Bhagavan says. Saktah karmanya vidvanso yatha kurvanti bharata kuryan vidvans tatha saktah chikirshu loka sangraham. So Bhagavan says, just like an ignorant or an unwise person who is avidvansa, who is attached, who is sakta karmani, who is karmani eva kurvanti, he performs all the actions as if he is very attached. Like we know that the unwise people, if you see the election time, this is the election time, all the leaders who canvass, they do it with a lot of attachment, enthusiasm. They're so attached. So that's how people do their outer actions. Similarly, Bhagavan says, Vidwan, the wise person, tatha kuryat asakta, who does with unattachment, also should perform the action similarly. Means from outside you will not know whether this is a wise or an unwise person. It is only from the inside, from the attitude that he has, we'll know whether that person is a wise or unwise person. Chikirshu loka sangraham. The wise person does these kind of actions with a lot of inner unattachment, but outwardly it may look as if they are very attached, and this is done for loka sangraham evapi. Bhagavan has already started this from the 20th shloka. Is describing loka sangraha, for the betterment of humanity at large, for the welfare of the people at large. So do your actions without being selfish. Do it selflessly for the benefit of the others, for the benefit of the society at large. Asanga means be free from attachments, Bhagavan says. And there is a lot of misunderstanding of this word asangaha, without attachment. Does not mean that when we are not attached, we don't do our work properly. A lot of misunderstanding among a lot of people is that when we do work without attachment, means that we are not doing it perfectly. Means that we are not doing it out of love, respect, or care that is needed in the job to be done with the dedication, perfection, and skill that is needed in the job. That is actually not the true thing. What we need, attachment, is not towards the work. We have to do it in the best possible way, but the non-attachment is with the karma phala. So we do our duty out of for the welfare of the people at large, not just for our own duty's sake or selfish purpose, and in action, so people that follow him. And essentially how we do it is in a samatva, with a balance. And only when we do our duties in samatva, then we can remain upright, tatastha, and that's why we can remain swastha. We can remain composed in our life. We don't get upset for small little things. We enjoy the beauty of this world. And that's how Bhagavan is asking us to maintain this universal harmony by doing the karma in a selfless way for the loka sangraha, for the benefit of the welfare of the people at large. Now, how the wise person who is enlightened inspires all and does the karma, Bhagavan is describing in the next shloka. Na buddhi pedam janayet ajnanam karma sanginam joshayet sarva karmani vidvan yukta samacharan. So Bhagavan says, na buddhi pedam janayet. Don't shatter the faith. He's telling the wise people, of course, wise people are not going to do this. It is not like a preaching, but he's showing a statement of fact. He says that the wise people, they don't shatter the faith of people who are ignorant, who are unwise, ajnanam, who are karma sanginam. They are very much attached to their karma, their actions. They keep doing all these things. The wise person will not shatter the faith of these people. The one who is a wise person, by his own moral conduct, by his vivek, vidwan yukta samacharan, joshayet sarva karmani, will inspire all these people into action, into karma. Those who are not doing their karma, those who are not doing their duties, the wise person will inspire that person to get into karma. But those who are already doing karma, doing their duty, the wise people will not say that, okay, don't do your duties, don't take care of your parents or children, do go and take sannyasa or do this Bhagavana japa all the time. that is not that the wise person will tell. Not shatter the faith of the person who is ignorant, who is already in karma, who is doing his karma with attachment. The wise people will inspire them, gradually will uplift them from karma yoga, and then gradually will uplift the person. This is how the wise people should. And Bhagavan is talking about Shraddha. We should not shatter the faith of people, because everybody has faith somewhere, and people have different faith, different places, and that's why there are so many gods, there are so many names, avatars, and so many things, because somebody may believe in Hanuman, somebody may believe in Ganesha, somebody believes in Shiva, somebody believes in Krishna. There are so many faiths. Bhagavan is trying to tell the wise person, do not shatter the faith of the person, because faith, Guruji tells us that faith breaks very easily, but the new faith develops very slowly. And that's why what Guruji does is that they always show the next level, the next step. And the moment we understand that next step, they will just gradually, the faith will shift from this to the other step. And that's why our habit, most of the humans have a habit of giving a very loose advice. It is our habit, because that may sometimes shatter the faith of the other person, because we keep telling them, okay, are you doing this? No, this is not proper. Don't do this. Are you going to see this doctor? No, this doctor is no good. You better go to another doctor. So that always, shatters the faith of that person. And that's why we should avoid giving unsolicited advice. It generally does not have much worth. Only advice given from a respected person has a lot of value. People we respect, we value their advice, and that's why we should, try and inspire people. Do not disrespect their feelings, do not shatter their faith. Wherever their faith is, try to protect their faith. That is what Bhagavan is trying to tell. The 27th shloka, Bhagavan is now showing the unwise person, the ignorant Agnani, what kind of avivek he or she has, absence of that discriminating intellect, and how he understands what is what. And that is the 27th shloka. Prakrute kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashah ahankara vimudhatma kartahamiti manyate. So what is this unwise person? Now first line, Bhagavan gives a statement of the fact. This is not understanding, but this is a statement of fact. All the actions, Bhagavan says, karmani sarvashah, all the actions, involuntary, voluntary, all the different kinds of works, whatever, nimitta karma, all the different karmas, kriyamanani, they are performed prakrutehe gunaihi, within the three gunas of the prakriti, the nature. And these three gunas are the sattva, rajas, and the tamas. And this is the reality. Bhagavan shows here that the prakriti which forms, it is the maya. It consists of these three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas, which is there in maya also. Maya is also called trigunatmika. From there the prakriti is created. From avyakta, then it becomes vyakta, means it becomes visible, it becomes seen. From unseen, maya is unseen. From there the prakriti develops. And because maya is consisting of three gunas, the prakriti is also consists of three gunas. But Bhagavan says, ahankara vimudhatma, that vimuda person, one who is unable to think, who is aviveki, who is mudha, who is having moha, who is having this delusion, not the clear thinking. Why? Because ahankara, because that person identifies with his own body, mind, and sense complex, which is called karya karana sanghat, our own body, mind, senses. We identify ourselves, we think that we are only this much. And because of this, Bhagavan says, karta aham iti manyate, believes that I am the doer. And this is a false concept, this is a misconception that Bhagavan is trying to tell us. But this is what most of us believe, that I am the doer, I am doing this karma, I am speaking, I am talking, I am walking, I am going, I am lifting up things, I am doing this, I am doing that. All these things, we always believe that I am the doer. And this is the pride that we all have. And that is the main problem for us, because we don't understand what Bhagavan is trying to tell us, the reality of this existence. And the gunas of the prakriti gunehi, that Bhagavan is talking about in Sankhya Shastra, it is said that prakriti is consisting of the 24 tattva, 24 elements, and the 25th is the purusha, which is one which is separate from the prakriti. And all the prakriti and the sharira, the sthula sharira and the prakriti, everything develops, even the sukshma shariras, everything that develops or created from the 5 great elements, the Pancha Mahabhuta. So in that sense, the Prakriti, that is the nature, that is the world, the outer nature and the Sharira and our inner, what we understand as body and everything inside the body, our mind, intellect, all the indriyas, everything develops from Pancha Mahabhuta. In a sense, it is not different. So existence, the Sthul and the Sukshma Jagat comes from the Prakriti, and that's why it consists of all the three gunas. And the same is for the body. But we identify with our body very strongly. We don't identify with the nature so strongly, because that is our understanding. That is the misconception that we have when we believe. So that's why we feel that I am the doer, I am doing this job in the world. But ultimately, both this develops from the same guna, from the same Prakriti. And the reason for this aviveka is absence of proper understanding, proper use of the discriminative intellect. And the main reason is identification of our ahankara, and how aham, we are identified with aviveki person is that we believe that aham, I am the karta, I am the doer. And that's why whenever I receive the results, or when we enjoy the results or bhoga, we believe that I am the bhokta, I am the enjoyer, aham bhokta. And this is nothing but the samsara bandhana. According to our scripture, this aham karta, aham bhokta is nothing but samsara bandhana, because that creates a lot of impressions. And this ahamkara is when I is identified with a very limited name and form of our own body, mind, when I understand. But I do not know that I am the Shuddha Aham, I am the pure I, the omnipresent self, that Atma Tattva or the Brahma Tattva, which is unlimited. This is not the identification that we have, and that's why all these problems, miseries happen. In the next shloka, Bhagavan describes what is the understanding of that learned, wise, enlightened person. Bhagavan says, Tattva vittu mahabaho guna karma vibhagayoho guna guneshu vartanta iti matva na sajjate. Bhagavan says, Tattvavit. Tattvavit is the person who knows the Tattva. That is a wise person, the enlightened person. Hey Mahabaho. Mahabaho is the salutation to Arjuna. Hey, oh great warrior. Guna karma vibhagayo. They know clearly the divisions of the guna and the karma. These divisions between the guna and the karma are clearly known by Tattvavita. That is what Bhagavan says. And they understand, they know that guna guneshu vartanta. They know that gunas operate in the different gun. Because when I do some action in this world, when I pick up an object, he knows that one guna of the Prakriti is operating in the another guna of the Prakriti. So this is the understanding of the wise person. The one says, Iti matva nasajjate. By knowing this, by understanding in this way, that person does not get attached. Because he knows that he is the Atma Tattva, and all these karma phala, everything happens in anatma, that one guna is operating in the other guna, and by this clear understanding, that person does not get attached. What does understand? Guru Maharaj tells us what is tattva. Shankaracharya ji, Bhashyakar, explains that it is anaropitakar vastu, that is tattva. Anaropitakar means that one on which there cannot be any identification of any form. That is the anaropitakar, and that is the tattva. It cannot be seen, it is very sukshma, and it is essentially the root cause of everything. That is the tattva. For example, Vedanta gives a very common example of mati and ghata. That is the sand and the pot, the clay and the pot. So mati is the adhisthana. It is the main material cause of all the different varieties of ghata, or the different pots that can be created, different shapes, different sizes. But one pot can be broken down and it becomes mati. From that you can create another pot. That also can be broken down. You can create for another pot. So adhisthana is the mati behind all these names and forms. There is just one adhisthana, that is mati. That is the root cause, that is the tattva of all these names and forms. Similarly, for us, for the entire existence, all the forms and the shapes and the names that we see in this world, it's all, keeps changing, but the tattva, that root cause of everything, the adhisthana, is the tattva. And this tattva is sat. It is always there, it is eternal, it is always in existence, it is the truth which we want to find out, which we want to understand. It is tat, it is the omnipresent Paramatma, we can say. It is a chit swarupa, it is all the knower, it knows everything. And this is called the tattva. And this tattva is nothing but the eternal, omnipresent consciousness. We may call it Paramatma, Bhagwan, God, Ishvara. We can give it any different name. But there is only one such tattva, which is the eternal, omnipresent consciousness. And the person who knows this tattva is the person called the Tattvavit. He is the knower of this tattva, knower of this truth behind the existence. Behind all the different names and forms, there is just one truth behind the existence, and one who knows this is called a Tattvavit. And this drashti, the understanding of the Tattvavit, Agnani and the Gnani, what is the difference? Bhagavan Guru Ma explains here that this Agnan is because of Aviveka. We have never done that Viveka, that discriminative intellect, understanding. We never had, because we have not looked into the scriptures, we have not listened to the Guru. So we all just operate out of our own understanding, and that's why that Vivek has not happened. Whereas Tattvavit, Gnani, has already done a lot of Vivek, understanding, through which they have reached to this final goal of the Aikya Gnana. So Agnani, ignorant, unwise people, they operate from Ahankara. They are identified with the limited body, mind, soul complex. Whereas Tattvavit is not identified with this limitation, believes that I am the observer of all this. The Agnani believes that I am the doer. The Gnani believes that I am not the doer, I am the Akarta. I am not attached, I am just an observer. Agnani believes that I am the enjoyer, I am the Bhokta. Gnani believes that it's only the karma, it happens in the Guna and Guna Karma Vibhaga. They are also only implicate. I am just an observer, I don't get attached. And that's why I am not the Bhokta. Because I am not the Karta, I am not the Bhokta also. And this is a strong belief of the Gnani Purush. And Bhagavan tells in the next shloka that wise should not disturb the unwise people who are in action. Prakruter guna sammudhaha sajjante guna karmasu tana kratsna vido mandan kratsna vinna vichalaye. Bhagavan says Prakrute guna sammudha. One who has been deluded in the gunas of the nature. Most of the avivekis, unwise, ignorant people, they are all deluded, mudha, moha, in all these gunas of the nature. From the morning till evening, we do all the same things, getting into this without understanding. And sajjante guna karma. So they get attached to all these guna, karma, vibhaga. They don't have clear understanding of what is what. Thana akrutsna vidah mandan. One who does not have this complete knowledge, Bhagavan says that person is akrutsna vid. This person who does not understand, that's why develops this mudha, moha and aviveka. Krutsnavit na vichalaye. Bhagavan says one person who knows this completely, Krutsnavit, the Gnani who knows this Gnana, should not astray the others. Vichalaye, it means should not astray them from the path that the other Akrutsnavit are following. They're all attached to Guna, Karma, they're all doing their action, they're all doing their duties, keep on doing their work. The Krutsnavit, the Gnani Purush, should not astray them, should not disturb those wise people. So Bhagavan is talking about two words here. He says Akrutsnavit, Agnani. He uses this word Akrutsnavit for Agnani, person who does not have complete knowledge, incomplete knowledge. What is their incomplete knowledge? This is what Guru Ma beautifully explains, that towards the Jagata, towards the outer world, towards his existence, they believe, the Agnanis believe that it is very important. They have a lot of Mahatma Buddhi. They believe that this is the truth. There is no truth beyond this. Whatever is seen is the truth. And they believe that this is the one world that is going to give me happiness. That's why we try to do whatever we want to collect, possess, earn, live happily, more comforts, because we want more and more things to make us happy. And that's why we want to change people or circumstances to make us happy. Towards Ishvara, the Agnani or the Akrutsnavit believes that probably Ishvara is far away in some Swargaloka or in heaven or in temple. And that's why he feels that he is quite far away from Ishvara, does not have Sannidhya, does not have closeness to Ishvara. That's why there's a lot of fear from God, tries to transact with the Lord. Bhagwan, मैं आपके लिए ये कर रहा हूँ, आप मेरे को ये दे देना, please give me this, I will do this many mala, japa, and feels that God is the cause for his or her miseries. Whenever we get some bad disease or problems or pain, we say, oh Bhagwan, why are you giving me so much of miseries? We think God is the giver of miseries. This is the incomplete knowledge of the Akrutsnavit. Regarding the Jiva, his own Swarupa, how does the Akrutsnavit or the Agnani believe? Agnani believes that I am the doer, I am the karta, I do all this work right from morning till evening, all throughout my life. I am the enjoyer, I am the bhokta, I am the body, I am the happy, I am sad, I am dukhi, I am sukhi, I am very ups and downs happen in life. I complain, keep on complaining with fear, feeling incomplete, limited, dependent on others, have a lot of desires to accomplish, always sometimes become unhappy, and always sometimes have greed to achieve more and more, getting more and more, earning more and more. All these are the signs of akritsnavit agnani. And there is a difference. Their vision is of differences. They see all the differences. This person is doing very well. This person is not doing well. This person is dukhi. This person is sukhi. This person is rich. This person is poor. All this differential buddhi, the bheda buddhi is there, and that is the sign or a hallmark of akritsnavit, incomplete knowledge, agnani. Bhagavan is giving description of who is akritsnavit. And then person who is kritsnavit, one who has a complete knowledge, is a gnani according to Vedanta. This person towards Jagata, towards the world, towards existence, it does not have too much importance. Bhagavan has already said in the second Adhyaya, na sato vidyate bhav, na bhav vidyate sata. He's sleeping towards where the people are alert. Where Agnani is alert, Gnani is sleeping. It does not have too much of importance towards people, towards religion, towards relations, towards places. Does not want to change the outer circumstances. Sees that the entire world is like a drama, and sees that God or Tattva is everywhere in this world. In everywhere, beyond all the names and the forms, that person is going to see that Tattva. And that's why it does not get too much of vichalit, does not get upset. Towards Ishwar, this Gnani person, this Kritsnavit, believes that this is the only energy that pervades in this world. This is the only force through which this world is created. And also understand that this is my own force, my own self also is running through the same force. There is no differences, that my force and the other force, or my energy and the other energy through which the creation works, and my energy, everything is one and the same, is unseparated from that self. And that's why there is no fear of God, because he believes that God and I are one and the same. There is no difference. And towards Jiva, believes that though there are a lot of differences from outer perspective, but my own Swarupa, my own real Atma Swarupa, myself as well as the Ishvara, Jiva and Shiva are one and the same. And with this understanding, there is no complaint, no fear, feels complete paripurna, feels unlimited joy, freedom, and operates out of joy. Whatever he or she does, Bhagavan has already described the sthiti of the Gnani Purusha. So with this, he or she sees oneness in everywhere. All the three, Jagata, Ishvara and Jiva, has the Abheda Buddhi, sees the one Tattva that pervades everything. That is the complete knowledge that this Gnani Purusha has. And then finally, after explaining everything, Bhagavan again is summarizing to Arjuna that what you need to do. He says, you follow this path of selfless devotion. That is the best path for you. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasyadhyatma chetasa nirashir nirmamo bhutva yuddhasva vigatajvaraha. So Bhagavan tells Arjuna, Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya. All your actions you surrender to me. Bhagavan is telling Arjuna, sanyasya adhyatma chetasa. Do your work, your actions, your journey of life with adhyatma chetasa, with the spiritual mind. Nirashihi bhutva. Let go of all the expectations of the results. Nirash, asha means expectations. Nirashi, be nirashi. One tells Arjuna, nirmama. Mamata means attachment. Don't be attached. Let go of all these attachments. Nirmama bhutva. Bhagavan says, Yudhyasva vigata jvara. Do your duties without any jvara, without any anger, despise or haughtiness. Do all your Yudhyasva means do your duties here, because Bhagavan is telling Arjuna in the Mahabharata battlefield, is telling Arjuna Yudhyasva. But it's not that he's going to inspire Arjuna to fight or violence. He's not inciting violence. That is a wrong impression of Shree Krishna. It's a misconception. But Arjuna, Bhagavan is trying to tell us Yudhyasva means do your duty. Your duty is to fight this war at the moment, Arjuna. And that is what you need to do with the Karmayoga understanding, with this attitude, by Nirasha, by Nirmama and Vigatachvara. So when Bhagavan says Arjuna Sanyasya Sarva Karmani, how is it possible to surrender to God? All the actions, how can we surrender to the Lord? It is very difficult, because karma is not like a like an incense stick or a lamp that we can burn or offer some kind of a prasada or some food as we offer to the Lord. That is not how we can offer our karma. Essentially, how we can offer our karma to the Lord is by being nimitta bhav, that I am the instrument, He is the doer, I am doing it, He is giving me this role, and that I have to perfectly do this role. And whenever I do all the karma, I remember the Lord, see that it is because of His grace that I have been given this opportunity, and that's why I should do it with the best of my abilities. With this understanding, all my pride, my ego from the karma, from the ahankara is gone. All my attachment towards the results is also gone, and that karma is done with an attitude of gratitude. Oh God, you have given me so much. It has been your grace that you've done so much for me. Right from my childhood, you've given me wonderful, parents, a home, an education, good work, good wife, good family, good husband, good children. All this, all my attitude, everything is out of a gratitude by kritagnata. And with this attitude, once we keep doing our karma, our ego, our pride will also surrender in the hands of the Lord. And then finally, we have to go to a stage where we become completely egoless. All of our ahankara is surrendered to the Lord. And this is only what cleans up our mind of impurities. This is the antakarana shuddhi. All the pollution in our inner mind is all because of ahankara and mamakara. Ahankara is the pride, and mamakara are the attachments. So all these are the two main sources of all the problems. And that's why Bhagavan says here, do your work with Adhyatma Chetasa. Live your life with this God consciousness, Adhyatma Chetasa, spiritual consciousness, looking beyond what is seen, awakening to the God or the universal consciousness that is the Adhisthana, that is the support, that is the basis of this existence. Be aware of this. Bhagavan is saying, while doing all your actions, have this attitude that everything happens by and within God. Bhagavan is the Karta. He is the Karta. He is the one who gets everything done through everybody. I'm just, donning different hats, doing my role. Essentially, it is the Lord who is getting me done. Everything belongs to the Lord. He is the big boss. He is the creator. Everything He owns. I'm just a trustee of whatever is given to me. I need to take care of these things well. And God is the person who is the Karma Tyaksha, Karma Phala Data, who looks at all the actions that I do, who gives adequate karma phala to everyone, and He manages all this. And the creation of His laws, the karma phala laws, are very, very just laws. It is going to give me, even if I don't understand what a karma I do, I'll get the karma phala accordingly. And with this understanding is Adhyatma Chetasa. This is the understanding of the spiritual awakening that happens in us by this understanding. And then Bhagavan says, Nirashihi Bhutva. Don't have expectations, do your karmas, leave the desires and the intense attachment for the results, and do the karma in the best possible way without thinking of the results all the time. Instead, think of the Lord while you do your karmas, and the results will be determined by several other aspects. The nature, destiny will take care of your results. Whatever you do, you will definitely get your results. Maybe now, maybe later, maybe in the next janam. You don't know. We don't understand this system. And that's why we must understand that this principle of karma phala are very fair. They're very just laws. Nirmama bhutva. When Bhagavan says nirmama means detachment. Once we accept the results, be unattached to the result, accept it as a prasada from the Lord, accept it gracefully, share with the others as we share the prasada. And the third thing Bhagavan says, yuddhasva vigata jvaraha. Jvara means heat. When we get angry or frustrated or depressed, we have a lot of heat inside us. Bhagavan says, do your actions without this kind of an anger, frustration, and do your duty out of joy. You have been given this duty, this responsibility. Enjoy each moment. Don't do it as a burden with complaints, but do it like a joy. Eventually, with this attitude of Karma Yoga, your mind will be purified, and in this drama of life, do your roles in the best possible ways. And then what will happen? Bhagavan is trying to tell Arjuna that if you don't follow this path that has been shown to me, what are the benefits? First is showing, and then the next shloka he says, what will happen if somebody doesn't follow this path that has been shown by me? Ye me matamidam nityam anutishtanti manavaha shraddhavanto nasuyanto mujjante tepi karma bihi. Bhagavan says people who always follow this path, this path here, when he says idam, this path means what he has already talked about so far: karma yoga, niyata kuru karmatvam, and how we need to do this karma, loka sangraham evati, selflessly, ishwararpana bhavana, mai sanyasya sarva karmani, what all Bhagavan has said so far. If we do it and follow this path that Bhagavan says, shraddhavantaha, with faith. And the faith that we need to have is in Bhagavan, because he's showing us the eternal path. Our Guru who explains this path, because we don't understand easily what Bhagavan is trying to tell us. And the scriptures, which very clearly highlights what Bhagavan is trying to say here and tells us in different ways. Anasuyantaha. Anasuya means dosha buddhi, blame, without any keeping any blame on God, that Bhagavan to theek hai, bolna hai, mere ko karna hai, how can I do it with this attitude? Having a, blaming the Guru, that, different gurus talk differently, or blaming the scriptures that they are contradictory, because we don't understand, we blame others. It's very important to understand what Bhagavana and scriptures and Guru is trying to tell us. Everything is one and the same. It may come out in different ways. We may feel that it is very, very different, diverse, but essentially everything boils down to the same. If we have this Abheda Buddhi, then we can see the sameness in the message where everything comes from. Muchyante te tepi api karma bihi means they are also those people who follow this path with faith, without blaming. They also are liberated from karma. They will develop purity of inner mind, develop jnana, and then they will lead to moksha or mukti. So what are the benefits of Karma Yoga? Absence of expectations, so that there is no pain, no miseries, nirapekshata, less desires, vasana, kamana. Because of this understanding, that's why also gives a lot of peace of mind, antakarana shuddhi. It allows us to have dispassion, vairagya, towards this world, because I know that this world is not going to give me what I really want, and I'm able to see all these things, that this world from a different perspective. It gives me a very good samagra darshan, a 360-degree view. And with this, antakarana shuddhi happens, and ultimately then Karma Yoga is done till we attain the Atma Swarupa Nishtha, where the Karma Yoga ends. So to summarize the attitudes of Karma Yoga, what Bhagavan has said so far, Karma Yoga is the safest for most of us, because we are all attached to karma, and it is the best instrument for our upliftment. So the journey starts with Karma Yoga. We start from converting our akarma, our laziness, inaction, into karma. Then from karma, we need to go towards more dharma karma, kartavya karma, do it according to the values, according to the kartavya, according to our duties, raga, dvesha. We have to shithil, we have to neutralize, but there should not be compromise with the values or the dharma or the systems of our life. And then we have to go towards selfless karma, ishwararpana bhavana, offering to the Ishwara all our karmas, accepting all the fruits of the actions as a svikara buddhi, and then karma phala as a prasada buddhi, sharing the fruits with others. And more is our acceptance, more is our sharing, more is our peace of mind. This we need to experience in our life. When we do this, we experience that this is what Bhagavan is saying, is telling us is the right thing. We normally think that the more we possess, the more we become happy. That is our normal thinking. But once we experience that when we let go of things, when we give away things, we let go of things, we become more and more peaceful within, inside ourselves. When we experience this, we'll understand what Bhagavan is talking about. And to summarize today's session, the second session of the Karma Yoga starts from the 17th shloka, karma till Atmarati, Atmatruptaha, Atmasantushta, that wise person who has this kind of understanding, for him there is no Karma Yoga. And then Bhagavan describes the state of the wise, the Jnani, how he lives in this world, and how Karma Yoga leads to the final goal. He gives example of Janaka, how they attain this, the examples, great people, Yadvidata, Charati Shrestha. Bhagavan gives his own example, how his Paripurna state, but even then he is in Name Parthasti Kartavyam Drishino Keshu Kinchana, he says, but even then I am in karma, I am in my duties, I am doing all the karma, Bhagavan says. And he says that if I don't do karma, there will be Sankara Praja, everything will be ruined. And then he describes the actions of the wise karma, how they do, how they inspire others, how they don't, shatter the faith of others. And then finally he shows the understanding of the wise and the unwise people, and finally tells Arjuna to follow the path of this Sarva Karmani Sanyasya Adhyatma Chetasa Nirashi Nirmamo Bhutva Yuddhasva Vigatajvara, path of the selfless devotion and its benefit, Karma Yoga. Bhakti Yoga, the benefits of all these, and then finally what is the final goal Bhagavan is going to describe in the next session. With this, we come to the end of the second session of the third Adhyaya. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwarah Gurur Sakshat Parah Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.